Now, I just want to prepare you guys. I'm going to do so much extra on this. And then at the end, I'm going to show you guys what you would actually do. Okay, so I'm going to be very extra because I'm trying to explain it to you guys. So here we go. This says it defines f for us. It gives it to us in factored form. And then it even tells us what the zeros are. -4, -5/9, 2/3, which it didn't need to. You could have found them yourself by setting that factor equal to 0, that factor equal to 0, and that factor equal to 0. You could have got these yourself. Okay, but let's get to the question right here. It says, what is the sign of f on this interval? What is the sign of f? So I'm going to give you guys a visual. I'm a visual learner. I think that helps a lot of people when they're learning stuff. They see like a picture or something. So you guys know where I got these numbers? Yeah, I got them from right here. These are x-intercepts of our function. Okay, now this is the x-axis, obviously, and this right here is the f. Okay, now our question is f positive or is f negative on this interval between those two numbers? Now, obviously, the top above the x-axis would be positive. Below the x-axis would be negative. Okay, so the question is saying, is the graph above or above or below the x-axis? That's what it's asking. It's just saying it a different way. It's saying, what is the sign of f? So I'm gonna make up a graph. Okay, I'm making this graph up. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Now I'm also drawing these dotted lines. So don't get freaked out. These dotted lines are just separating the intervals. How many intervals do I have? I have one interval right here, one interval right here, one interval right here, and then my last interval. So how many intervals is that? 4. There's 4 intervals. Okay. Now you guys know that we only really care about this interval, but I'm going to talk about all the intervals for a second here. Okay. Now in the first interval, is f positive or is f negative in this first interval?
Oh, negative.
We're negative. Why? And how do you know that? We're below the x-axis, right? That's kind of obvious, right? So we would put negative for that interval. Now this next interval, our second one, from -4 to -5/9, are we positive? Is f positive or is f negative? Now look at it. Is this above the x-axis or is this below the x-axis? It's above the x-axis, right? And so we would say this interval is positive. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Some of you guys are like, oh, it's increasing then decreasing, so it's positive. No, I'm not talking about the slope. I'm asking you guys, is f above the x-axis or below the x-axis? Okay? You see, the question's simpler than what you're trying to make it into. And so what about our third interval? Is our third interval positive? Is f positive or is f negative in our third interval?
Negative.
It's negative. And then our last one?
Positive.
All right, man. You guys are good at this. Okay. So now what I just did is a bunch of extra stuff. This isn't even actually f. Okay? I just drew this to give you guys an understanding of what the heck this is asking. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this because we don't really need this, and put question marks because we don't really know if it's positive or negative, and show you guys actually all you need is the x-axis. We just need the x-axis. Here's your x-axis. We don't need to draw the f, because like if you guys are doing this on your own, you would draw or write as little as possible, right? So here's my x-axis. Now they call this a sine line graph. So if you ever hear like, oh, just create a sine line graph. This is a sine line graph. And what you do with the sine line graph is you divide up the intervals. Okay, you don't need the dotted lines if you don't want them. Okay, but you can see, again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals. Now, which interval do we care about? We only care about this one. So how would we figure out in this interval if f is positive or if it is negative? All you need is a tester point. Did anybody think to test a point? No? Okay, you just have to pick an x value that's between -5/9 and 2/3. What? Now, there's a really nice x value in there. What x value? 0. Yeah, let's pick 0. So I'm going to take 0. I'm going to plug it in and see if it's positive or negative, and then I can know if f is positive or negative. What? How do you do that? Okay, we're plugging it in, right? So I'm going to put parentheses everywhere I see an x. I have parentheses everywhere I see an x. Okay, and what am I plugging in right now? 0, because I'm testing it. I'm testing to see if we're positive or negative. So booyah, I plug in 0. And then booyah, I get -2, 4. No, not a -5. I made that mistake before. I'm not going to make it again. Okay, that's a +5. Okay, if I plug 0 into the first factor, I get -2, right? 3 times 0, minus 2, negative 2. This one, 0 plus 4, positive 4. This one, 9 times 0, that should say plus 5.
Oh.
I messed that up, sorry guys. But I just made the correction. New video. So plus 5. And so that one's going to be positive 5. Guys, is this going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
We have a negative times a positive, which would be negative, right? And then a negative times a positive again, which would be?
Negative.
Oh, snap. And that's actually all we care about. We only care that this is...
Negative.
Yeah, we don't care about the number, right? We just care that it's negative. And that's what we're going to write. We're going to say this guy right here, oops, go away, plus. This guy right here is negative. So what's my answer?
Negative.
A, B, or C?
B.
I said I did extra. I'm going to get rid of all the extra stuff. What would you actually do? This is probably all that you would actually do. You probably would just do a sine line graph. Maybe this. You definitely want to do this at least. You would know, maybe, that 0 is between these two numbers, and you would test it, and you would find out it's negative, and then you know this is your answer. Okay? I did all that other stuff, though, to try to help you guys understand what it meant when it was saying, what's the sign of F? That's it.